Hello, welcome to the Midweek Podcast here at First Baptist Church Sweetwater. My name is Tique, and I'm the pastor here in Sweetwater. This is my good friend,
Molly Brock.
Big day today, Molly.
Yes.
Because this is episode number...
4. I'm kidding.
Episode number 600 of the podcast.
This is what you say, 600.
Right.
Okay.
600, episode number 600. Most podcasts, when they start, don't make it past 30 episods.
Really?
I don't know. I just made that up, but I'm pretty sure it's probably true.
Good grief.
But we've been doing this one for quite a while. It started with me and Jerry back in, I think we started this before COVID.
I can't remember. Maybe?
So it's been a while. I mean, we do 2 podcasts a week. One is the sermon podcast, and then one is the Midweek Conversation. We don't miss very often. We're pretty good about hitting it.
Yeah.
There's times where we've had bumps and stuff like that, but for the most part, we've done good.
Taken a season off, maybe like a.
Usually it's because we aren't feeling good, but
that's
good. But we're at episode number 600 today. I think after the episode is over, we have to celebrate with cookies and cupcakes and things like that.
Yeah, we should.
Now that you've agreed, I expect you to make
lunch.
me chocolate chip cookies. But I am thankful. It's November, so I'll just say I am thankful that through this whole podcast experience, I've got to do it with 2 of my closest friends, with you and Jerry. And so I am thankful for you. I'm thankful for Jerry. Jerry was the mind behind this, the one that wanted to do it. And it's just been something that's become part of who we are as a church, that it's about continuing the conversation that was started during the week. We don't see it as a sermon on Sunday morning. We see it as a conversation that hopefully leads into and continues during the week in your faith life, in your faith journey, in your families, with your own life. And so I have really valued and appreciated this along the way. We've gotten Stacy to come in a couple times. So I'm always glad when she comes in to do it. We've had Lisa in here before. Has Alexis done one with us yet?
Not yet. We need to get her in here.
We got to get Alexis in here. I remember having done one with Ryan Strebeck and Jared Howes, and trying to moderate one with those 3 guys, Jerry and Jared and Ryan. So I think we could do a highlight reel of maybe the best ones we've ever done. And that would definitely be one of them. It was fun listening to them talk about Lent and Holy Week and their different traditions. But I am thankful for the time we've got to do this.
Yeah, it's
thankful
fun.
for technology to be able to do this. And in the next year, we'll be upgrading to some new stuff, maybe a new location. It's going to be good. I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to New Year, new podcasts.
Well, me too.
It's going to be fun.
And for those of you who are out there listening to podcasts as opposed to watching on Facebook, Molly complained last week that I wear the same shirt every week to podcast in. So this week I wore a different shirt, much more appropriate.
It's not appropriate.
If you just listen on iTunes, feel free to find us on Facebook and you can see my shirt. It's
or YouTube. We're on YouTube also.
We're on YouTube also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can check it out there and you can see my new shirt, or my shirt that I chose to wear today. There's a reason behind it. We'll talk about that in a minute. So we wrapped up Invite Your One last Sunday. We looked at what it meant to be Great Commission Christians. And I really think that if the church is going to grow in America, in the West, it's going to start first with prayer. So I think we have to get serious about prayer, and about not just praying as individuals, but praying as a church, as the people of God, regularly praying. That becomes a lifestyle for us. And then I think it comes with evangelism, reaching out. And I think we've lost that. I don't know why. I don't know where the switch happened, where we became uncomfortable with that.
I wonder if it's like the not knowing how to, I don't know how to word this, but you like the sidewalk preachers. And it's like, you don't want to come across as like so pushy that you turn people away, but you don't want to be, it's like, well, we don't know how to not be awkward. And it's like, well, who cares about being awkward?
Right.
Like people, this is the thing, people are not going to understand the love of Jesus that we have if they don't have it.
Right. And
there's it's going to be awkward because it's something that people don't understand.
Right.
And it's like we don't even fully understand and grasp his love for us. So if we don't even fully understand it and we're trying to like show people this, it's going to get awkward. There's going to be these times of like, yeah, I feel weird.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to get over that.
Yeah.
We got to get past well, I don't know what's too much and not enough, so I just won't do anything. Well, you can't do that.
Right.
Because it's going to be a whole life of doing nothing, and lukewarm is not going to do anything.
Agreed. That's a good quote. Lukewarm is not going to do anything. I like that.
Yeah, so.
And that sounds like part of the first part of the conversation last week, where I said maybe we doubt or we hesitate because the story's too good to be true. Maybe we don't think we deserve what God has done for us. And so if people don't know that, they haven't heard the story, then they don't know. And so it's our job to go out and invite them. And that's the difference. Like in Invite Your One, we're just asking our people to invite somebody to church.
It's like, I'm not trying to give you all the answers right here. Just come to church with me.
Yep. The next level we're going to talk about over the years is how you tell your story.
Right. Yeah.
To me, that's more difficult at times than just inviting someone. I'm really good at saying, hey, let's go do this. Like I can invite people to do all kinds of stuff.
And I might be the opposite. Because I open up pretty quickly and easily to people. So I feel like I can more easily tell, like, look at what he's done in my life than be like, come do this. Right. I'm really awkward inviting people to do things.
Oh no, I like inviting. I always want to have one more come with us.
Yeah.
Now the funny thing is, I'm not good at somebody doing like a random invite to me. Like I don't do good when somebody like drops in and says, "Hey, let's go do this."
I get you. Yeah.
Because I want to have time to prepare for mentally what to. But I'm really bad about being the drop-in person that says, "Hey, let's go do this."
Yeah, no, you're good at it. You're good at doing that. Like, you do it a lot.
I do it a lot. In fact, I told Glenn Harrison the other day, like drop-ins don't bother me if someone drops in and says, "Let's go get ice cream."
Well, yeah.
That I don't have. I'm always prepared for ice cream.
Absolutely.
But the rest of it, I'm not good at. So I think that's one of the things. It's easy, or it should be easy, because if it's a friend that you're inviting, they're gonna not stop being your friend because you invited them to church.
Right.
If they do, they weren't a friend.
They weren't a friend.
That's just
right.
It. And so that's just part of where we've been with talking about inviting someone to church. And so I'm excited about what God's going to do through our faithfulness to church to invite someone to church. I shared a statistic Sunday, and it was purely based off of conversation with some friends at some churches in town of how many people they saw or their church had on Easter Sunday. Biggest Sunday of the year.
Yeah.
And we guesstimated from that there were 3,000 people or less, probably less, in churches in Sweetwater on Sunday.
Okay.
On Easter Sunday, with the population of 10,000.
Yeah.
That means we're behind the professing average for the U.S. 60% is who claim to be Christians.
Right.
And our attendance is half of that on Easter Sunday. It means that we need to be the church. We need to be Great Commission Christians. We need to invite people to church. We need to invite people to a relationship with Jesus. So I think that's the future for the church. If we don't pray and if we don't get into evangelism, the church looks very bleak in the West.
Yeah, I agree.
But all that, Invite Your One, that was concluded Sunday, and now we're looking forward to At the Table Sunday.
Yeah.
Which, oddly enough, is one of our highest attended services every year. It's not Easter, obviously, but it's one of our highest attended, which is funny because most schools have a whole week off.
Yeah,
for Thanksgiving. It's the Sunday right before Thanksgiving.
Right.
And our people love that day. Like, they show up for that day. We have a meal afterwards. I think it's like 80% of the people come downstairs and eat. They bring food, they hang out, they eat, they fellowship, and we do communion around the table.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's been I've enjoyed that because in some fashion, for a long time, we've had some kind of meal or fellowship around Thanksgiving time. Whether it was, a while back, we tried going into the communities and doing a dinner, and then we kind of said, well, let's bring that back to the church. And I really like having communion together and bringing
Yes.
that element into it. And it's so special. I love just having fellowships. I don't need a reason
Right.
to get together
Me either.
with people here and eat. I love that. I could do it I would want to do it every week. Can I do it every week? No. But yeah. But I love the intentional, like, setting this aside. We're doing communion together. And yeah, I love that part of it. And I'm glad that we still do it.
You know, back when you were talking about, we used to do the community, we'd do a Thanksgiving meal, we'd eat fried turkey jollof. And I love doing that, but we got rained out so many times that we finally switched gears and changed, came up here. But now we do fried chicken. Yeah. And I'm fine with that too.
I'm fine with chicken, turkey, ham, brisket. Ooh. I mean, ribs.
Best
what do we want to?
I've ever had. Best brisket I've ever had. You know who made it?
No, you.
Stephen May.
Oh, Stephen, you're getting called out.
Best brisket I've ever had.
Now you have to make everyone a brisket.
He babied it. He took care of it overnight. He tended the fire. He watched it. No, and you know I love brisket. I love cooking.
Yes,
brisket.
you do.
I love making ribs, all that kind of stuff. But all the places I've eaten out, you name any brisket place in Sweetwater, Roscoe, around the state of Texas, because I really think Texas has the best brisket. Nobody else does.
Absolutely.
And we're really the only ones that do brisket. Everybody else does pork. But any place I've ever eaten out, any brisket I've ever made, my family's ever made, my friends have ever made, bar none, the best one ever, Stephen May.
Okay, so Stephen, this is Tique officially calling you out that you should bring a brisket to Thanksgiving.
Or he could just make it for episode 650.
Oh, 650. I'm fine with that too.
And then we can have other people come up and join us too.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
So, but you just said brisket, and they got me excited about brisket.
Okay, sorry.
So that's another reason I wore my special shirt today.
Your special
because
shirt.
I'm looking forward to our Thanksgiving meal together, our at the table meal together. Because for me, that service, yes, is about communion. Mm-hmm. It's about remembering and declaring what Christ has done for us through the cross and the resurrection. But it's also just a time that, and it's part of the season, that we think about the blessings in our life. Mm-hmm. And as you sit down there eating with all the people, you realize those are the blessings God's given us.
Absolutely.
Like that's our family down there. And I love that. I love that, Stacey and I have been blessed to be here long enough that is our family. Mm-hmm. A lot of times in the history of ministry and ministers, it's you're not at a church very long until you're at like a certain level, and then you might stay there, and they move on pretty quickly. But this has become our family, and I truly am blessed by that. So you sit down and look at everything, that's your family.
I mean, even if you wanted to, you couldn't really get rid of us at this point.
True. And I like that I can be the crazy uncle for everybody else.
Yes,
like, I'm okay
absolutely.
With that. Stacy's the normal aunt.
Yep.
I get to be the crazy uncle, who apparently is really good at spoiling the nieces and nephews. Uh-huh. That's what I've had a couple parents lately say, "You're spoiling my kids." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so
I mean, I don't understand what the problem is here.
Your point is what now?
And I don't see the kids complaining.
No, they're not.
So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But that really is that service leading up to that. We're going to look at Matthew chapter 9, look at the calling of Matthew, and that how lives are changed at the table. And so I'm excited about that passage. I've already got like literally 4 pages of notes. I was showing Lisa earlier, and that's just from my notes and one commentary. So I haven't even made it through all my commentaries yet. So I'm excited about that service. But then going downstairs and celebrating together is always just a huge blessing. And I will have this shirt on then also.
I'm sure.
Yep. The other part of last Sunday's service was our deacon ordination. We got to ordain Dr. Peak. I love that man. Like he is, there are so many people that have spoken into our lives and been such a vital part of our lives, but he is one of those ones that you just don't, like he doesn't step out there and say, look at me.
Right.
But he has cared for Stacey and I so well over the years and loved on us. And I'm so thankful for him and his influence on our lives, his love for us. We love him. It was so great to see the church ordain him and say, we see this calling in your life to be a deacon, to lead that way. And it was so funny because on the day he's being ordained, he was working his tail off in the worship center, helping me get stuff done, helping Robert Aker. Like, we're going to town, and I'm just laughing because that's him.
Mm-hmm.
He would have done that whether he was getting the title deacon or not.
Yeah.
And that's what you wanted in deacon.
Yeah, I was sick Sunday, so I wasn't able to be at the church. But I tuned in online, and I was really, that was the thing I was most disappointed about, that I was missing that in person.
His testimony.
Yeah.
He told it as a part of that ordination service, his testimony. He is such a great speaker.
Yes.
Like, Ashley May texted me in the middle of it and said, he's really good. I was like, yeah, he is.
Yeah. Yes.
But that's him. And I've heard it over and over again that people just listen. They want him more, like just to sit and listen to him. And so he was, and he said he was nervous. I was like, you couldn't tell it.
No.
Like, you did great. But what a cool experience to be able to ordain him Sunday. And so we're still looking forward to that. In the spring, we'll have 2 more ordinations, but it's just a really great experience. A great Sunday leading up to another great Sunday. This week, we're collecting shoe boxes.
Woohoo.
Our goal here is 100. We've given out a lot of shoe boxes. Some have already started coming back. We'll pray over them this Sunday and ask God to bless those who receive them. And then we'll track them, find out where they all go. So we're excited about that. We had day 1, Monday, of collection is usually a day when you might have 1 or 2 come in. I think they said we had almost 60 come in the first day.
Oh, nice.
And so that's...
Is that from all over, or just our...
2 different churches.
Okay.
From around, actually not even from Sweetwater, came and delivered that day.
Awesome.
Both of them, I think, were new to Operation Christmas Child.
Yay!
So that's, I mean, it's exciting. What God does to that ministry is amazing. And as we prayed with our leadership yesterday, Monday, as we're getting ready to collect boxes, as Wade and Noah will come in, we were praying with leadership, and my prayer was, God, we don't want to elevate the name of Franklin Grant. We don't want to elevate the name of Samaritan's First. We don't want to elevate the name of First Baptist Church Sweetwater.
Yeah.
We want your name to be elevated and glorified through this ministry. And that's really why we do what we do.
Yeah, and we've said it over and over and over, but it's one of my favorite things. Yeah. I look forward to it every year. Yeah.
So much so that you've got your box and you're ready to go.
Yes.
We shouldn't do inside jokes on the podcast, but
no.
There's one.
There's one.
So I'm looking forward to this Sunday. It's going to be a great time. Stay with us afterwards for the meal and the fellowship time at the table, taking communion together. And we'll see you this Sunday at 10:30 a.m., 213 East 3rd Street.
All right. Bye.